Hi, my name is Sava Stoyanov, and this is the 8th episode of EU in 2. In the previous episodes, we already reached the early 2000s. Soon enough, we'll be talking about current events. Oh boy. Before that, however, a final event we could call historical and historic. In 2001, work began on a new treaty. It was going to be the treaty to end all treaties, and replace them with a constitution. You know, like the ones actual countries have. But it was rejected in referenda and never adopted. The member state governments were very keen on some of its provisions, however, so they rewrote it and rebranded it as the Reform Treaty. Finally, it came into force in 2009 and is now known as the Lisbon Treaty. It changed a lot of things about the EU decision-making process, which we'll talk about in other episodes. For now, just remember that it's the latest treaty to be adopted. Since then, the EU itself hasn't changed much. It is still constantly in the news, however, mostly because of the many crises it's in. First, there was the global financial crisis of 2008. In the EU, it turned into a debt crisis, and that culminated in Greece essentially being bailed out. The situation still isn't completely resolved, and we can only hope it doesn't get any worse. Since 2015, the European refugee and migrant crisis has been going on. Normally, I would make a joke here, but honestly nothing about this is funny. Thousands of people are still seeking asylum in the EU, and the member states are still divided in their response. The only reason this isn't the top news story right now is Brexit. In June 2016, the United Kingdom voted in a referendum to leave the EU. It's supposed to do so in March 2019, but it's still negotiating, so really anything could happen. Now, all of these crises sound terrible, and they are. But looking at its history, I think the EU has always emerged from crises stronger than before. They have resulted in bold, new solutions, and hopefully we'll see the same thing happen again. Finally, there's one more thing I want to mention. In 2012, the EU was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. It recognized the importance of the Union for the relative peace on the continent. This might seem insignificant, but securing peace was the Union's goal from the very beginning, and peace it has delivered. That's it for the EU's history. Next time we'll talk about its structure. Viszont látásra! EU in 2 is produced in the American University in Bulgaria by Elsa Kelmendi and myself. Our senior advisor is Laura Kelly, and I'm Sava Stoyanov. Music by Kevin MacLeod. Thank you for listening.